श्री सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय. Sai was originally formless. He assumed a form for the sake of the bhaktas. With the help of the actress Maya, he played the part of the actor in the big drama of the universe. Let us visualize and remember Sri Sai. I bow down to the Guru. You are the Manasarovar for us devotees, the swans. Your sweet words of wisdom are pearls at your feet and our only refuge. How great is the abode of Siddha Sai! Worldly fatigue is removed with the mere darshan. Where you go nearer, the delusion of the world disappears, and when you are in his company, he wards off the weariness due to karma. Let us meditate on Sai of those attributes and go to Shirdi for a while. After noon aarti, Maharaj would come to the outer side of the masjid and distribute udi amongst the devotees with the most compassionate look. The loving devotees too would immediately hug his feet, then standing up, they would adoringly look at his face and enjoy the shower of udi. Then he addressed the bhaktas as follows: "O Bhau, go and take your lunch. You Anna, go to your lodgings. You Bapu, enjoy your dishes." In this way he accosted each and every devotee and sent them home. Even now you can enjoy the sights of you. Bring into play your imagination. You can visualize and enjoy them. Das Ganu had started to write the commentary of Ishavasya Bhavrata Bodhini, in which some meaning was obscure. So he came to Shirdi to his Sadguru for elucidation. Let us first give a brief of the idea of this Upanishad before proceeding further. It is called as Mantropanishad, as it is embodied in the mantras of the Vedic Samhita. It constitutes the last or the 40th chapter of the Vajraseni Samhita, Yajur Veda, and it is therefore called as Yajasinai Samhito Upanishad. Being embodied in the Vedic Samhitas, this is regarded as a superior to all other Upanishads. Das Ganu had decided to explain the meaning of every sansa of Ishavasya Upanishad in the verse form for those who did not know Sanskrit. With the intention, he translated the meaning of Ishavasya into simple, lucid Marathi. This Upanishad is fully hidden meaning, though the word-to-word translation was achieved. Unless the deep implied meaning was clear, he felt dissatisfied. The essence of the four Vedas is really a treasury to understand the Upanishads, but without the grace of God and Guru, it is difficult to understand. But for him who seeks the feet of the Guru, there is nothing which is not possible. Das Ganu had to go to Shirdi. His problem was solved amongst the simplest ways. He went to have Sai's darshan, held his feet of the Lord at his head, prostrated himself, and felt full of happiness. One compassionate glance from a saint, sweet words from the mouth of a saint, the smiling face of a saint bestowed the Guru with good fortune. They ran their mutual exchange as Das Ganu pressed his feet and asked the question referring to the Ishavasya Bhavrata Bodhini. While writing this, my pen had stopped. Many doubts and misconceptions arose in my mind. Baba pleased to solve them. Baba solved all the misconceptions for Das Ganu, and the book was finished after successful approval of the scholars. The writing of the commentary is the verse form was completed, and Das Ganu's aspirations were fulfilled. Professor R.D. Ranade says, the Ishopanishad is quite a small Upanishad, and yet it contains hints which shows an extraordinary piercing insight. Within the short compass of 18 verses, it gives a valuable mystical description of the Atman, a description of the ideal stage who stands unruffled in the minds of the temptations and sorrows, and adumation of the doctrine of Karma Yoga as later formulated, and finally a reconciliation of the claims of knowledge and work. The most valuable ideas that lie at the root of the Upanishad is that of a logical synthesis between the two opposites of knowledge and work, which are both required according to the Upanishad to be annulled to a higher synthesis. Maharaj gave different names and these were used many times. The name itself became like a title which was lovingly held. Mahajani was called as Baba Kaka Nimonkar, Matre Kaka and Bahu Sahib, Langre Kaka or Bambia Kaka. One gets fruits according to one's devotion. One has the strength according to one's belief. A loving heart determines the extent of purity of experience. He had pledged to full desire of his devotees. That was his creed. Sai Baba blessed him and said, "You need not be anxious. There is no difficulty about the matter. The maidservant of Kaka will solve your doubts at Ville Parle on your way home." The people who were present there heard this and thought Baba was joking. How could an illiterate maidservant solve difficulties of this nature? But Das Ganu thought otherwise. He was sure that whatever Baba spoke must come true. Baba's words was the decree of the Brahma. All the miseries of the world will disappear and you will take the spiritual path. Das Ganu returned to Parle and went to Kaka Sahib Dikshit's house, wondering eagerly how Kaka's maidservant was going to help him. The next day, in the early hours of the morning, while Das Ganu was still in bed, enjoying those moments of perfect contentment after a sound sleep, a strange incident happened. A young, pleasant girl was singing in a melodious voice in a tune that touched Das Ganu. The song was sung with long drawn notes. The composition was appealing. When he heard it, he was carried away and listened attentively. When he inquired, he discovered a surprising fact that this girl was a sister of a male servant called Namya, who was serving at the Dikshit's home. He was certain that she was a maidservant. Her song wiped off all doubts. What can the saints do? Even a buffalo recited the Vedas at the command of one. Thus the song sung by this girl became the means of Das Ganu's satisfaction. All people understood the implications and the greatness that lies behind Baba's jocular words. The girl was cleaning vessels and was only wearing torn rags. On seeing impoverished condition and her jovial temperament, Das Ganu felt pity for her, and when Rao Bahadur M.V. Pradhan next day gave Namya a pair of dhotars, he requested him to give a sari to the poor little girl also. The girl was very happy when she saw the sari. It was like a person who subsisted usual on a coarse and unsavory food and is lucky to get a feast. Then next day she wore tattered clothes and was contented. To wear tattered clothes because you are incapable of wearing anything else is different issue, and being capable of possessing and yet doing the same thing is different. The latter is known as being contented. Thus, happiness and unhappiness depends on one's attitude. The way Das Ganu's riddle was solved, he discovered the essence of Ishavasya, and the meaning was very clear to him then and there. Sit wherever you are and ask me, why do you wander from place to place? I will satisfy your curiosity. Have this much of faith, I will fill space. There is not a place where I am not. I will appear anywhere where there is devotees' deep devotion. These were Baba's words. Baba appeared as Machigar for the sake of a person or for someone else. He would appear in any city of Kolarpur, Solarpur, Rameshwar at his will. To some he gave darshan in his usual dress and form. To some he appeared in dreams. And when awake, be it day or night, he would satisfy the wishes of his devotees. How did Baba know that there was a maidservant there, and that she would sing a song in some time, and that it would explain the meaning of Shruti? How did it happen? And certainly it did. Das Ganu was amazed. The elucidation of reality of the Atman is the subject of all Upanishads. This itself is the salvation without any doubt. This is the percept of the Gita also. Baba's words that I am formless and everywhere, I am in all creation, is the expression of self-realized man. God resides in every being till such time that the consciousness is not attained. Enlightenment cannot be granted even by Lord Rishikesh himself. God pervades the world of names and forms from inside and outside. I am alone and I am all pervading spirit devoid of any particular shape. This is one of the way of inner purification. The other is renunciation. But without practicing either, only mundane knowledge will be collected and one will have to undergo all sufferings as distant, which will chain you forever from the cycle of death and birth. If Baba himself had imparted knowledge, then the subsequent incidents would not have occurred. I pervade everything, and there is nothing without me. This understanding about Baba would not have been realized. The very opening words of the Upanishads tell that God pervades everything. As a corollary from this metaphysical position, that a man had to or to enjoy whatever God bestows him in the firm belief that he pervades everything. When the clear understanding of the knowledge of the self comes about and the doctrine of oneness in duality is realized, is I am part of the Supreme Soul, and then God is pleased with such a person. Hemat Pant surrenders to Sai. I encourage all Baba devotees to read the Sai Satcharitra every day and soak in Baba bliss. Baba bless you. Om Sai Ram.